The 100X initiative is a project of GitLab Foundation focused on partnering with and enabling other donors who have a lot of charitable capital to move, but perhaps not the infrastructure, the awareness, or the education to do it strategically and with velocity. So our goal is to work alongside them and work kind of with them to accelerate their impact while simultaneously also accelerating ours. I realized I needed to build a skill set really around gathering and facilitation. I've hosted in my own life. I think, as I've talked about with you before and others, there's a big difference between hosting and facilitating. And hosting is about bringing people together, and it's an exchange of kind of energy and time, but usually it stops there. And I think facilitation is really strategic, it's methodical, it's very detail oriented. And I think it was something I generally would have always parked in my mind as this is like simple, I can just do this. But having, I think, been exposed to some really great facilitators in the past, I realized that that is kind of a muscle to be worked out and like a skill to be learned. And that if I really wanted to build true relationships with people and to do something that was both like memorable for them and like effective for my end goals of finding partners, building network, sharing ideas, I needed to be methodical and strategic and very kind of on top of it. And so that's why I came to you all to help me with that. Something that did surprise me that came out was I started with a question that was really meant to prompt or elicit a response that was a little bit more about like a system or an observation, right? It was about what's something that you've experienced in your life or felt in your life that has been kind of transformational. It's felt like the bedrock has like been shifting under your feet. And I was expecting people to say, right, the advent of the internet or the exit of the Cold War or, integration of schools, because there's a variety of ages in attendance. And people immediately, the first person and subsequently two after them that kind of tagged on, went very, very deeply personal. And this is a room of people that some knew each other, some knew of each other, but they really weren't all, they're not best friends, they're not close colleagues. Like they don't have what we would traditionally think of as like the psychological safety nets, right, that we build before we share those things. And so it was just interesting seeing people of a certain level and of a certain type kind of go there first and like want that to actually be the jumping off point for the conversation. And it struck me that that became this unlock of participation and trust and energy, that kind of, it was safe to go there. It was safe to lean in. It was safe to not be an expert. And I think before doing this, I wouldn't have been able to, or wouldn't have had kind of like the mind share to do that. I think I would have also likely not been listening to them. I would have been projecting myself out to say the next thing or ask my next question versus actually sitting to absorb. I think understanding that's the difference too between like being there and being present and actually facilitating. And like to facilitate well, you have to be present, you have to be listening, but you also have to be tied into kind of like, once again, strategy and that like the tactics that you're trying to help move people along to have a good conversation, but coming from where they are, not forcing them to where you are. Somebody used a phrase which is funny, but I think it's kind of very apropos, like their brain felt like it was on fire. But actually they meant it in a very positive way. It was like there were so many different threads of interesting conversation and things they wanted to follow up on and pull together. And they said they haven't felt like that in a long time. So the idea of just like frenetic energy of like, this was so exciting and good and I need to do something with it is one. And I think two is that they kind of more deeply know someone else or even themselves. Like that was, I think, interesting to watch, like as people thought through, because they were almost live being asked a question and responding, but kind of working down this like very deep level of thought in a very open public way that was then being reflected back to them or added on by someone else. So it was very much, right, people would use the yes and. So it was like the thoughts got bigger. And I think because of that, it's like a rapid track to kind of building relationship and trust, right? What could have been 12 Zoom meetings, I think could be accomplished in 2.5 hours, kind of doing something like this. Not only for me, but I think for like each other. And I love today that after the dinner I did yesterday, I have a series of text messages and some emails, like people, maybe I mentioned this before, but like specifically asking to be linked to one another. hey, we were talking about this thing. I really want their contact info so we can keep talking.